Welcome to Know Before You Go for the 13th Sunday in Ordinary Time. My name is Father Brian Walker. Anybody who plans a trip knows that there are so many things that can happen in the course of that trip, especially if you're planning to fly, depending on when you want to fly, how far you're flying to. There are so many factors there. And there's so many things that you have to know. But one of the things that you always have to know is, what is this thing called an act of God? An act of God. It's basically something that you have no control over. The airlines has no control over. The people that you're renting cars from have no control over. Nobody has control over because it's all about God. And of course, for most people, you don't get compensated for acts of God. For example, if there is a storm and the flight is delayed, tough luck. If a flight gets canceled, tough luck. And sometimes you have to wind up making all kinds of changes yourself. And if you have a good travel agent, you're able to do that. But when there are acts of God, you really have to be concerned. Acts of God seem to be just about everywhere and in everything. Today, in our gospel reading, we hear about acts of God. We hear about one woman who is suffering from hemorrhages that she's had for 12 years. She has been suffering for 12 years, and she doesn't know what to do. Finally, she hears about this man, Jesus, and she says to herself, if I can just touch the hem of his garment, I truly believe that I can be healed. And so she does what she can to make sure that this is accomplished. But everybody knows her, and everybody knows that what she has is an act of God. And then we hear about an official who is having trouble because his daughter is sick. And he goes looking for Jesus because he's heard about Jesus. He has faith and trust that Jesus can make a difference. And so he looks for him, even though we know that this sickness is an act of God. And so with acts of God, you can't change them, or can you? And what Jesus does is, in both instances, Jesus changes something for the better. He makes it better for the woman. After 12 long years of suffering, she's no longer suffering. She's healed just by touching Jesus' garment. And then the official is told that his daughter has died. Don't even bother the master anymore. But he has faith and he has trust. My question is, do we have faith and trust, or are we just going to go by what people tell us? That is, this is an act of God. There's nothing that you can do to change it. But that's not always the case. There are different things that we can do. We're sick. We go to doctors. We need help. We talk to other people. And that's what we are called to do. Not just to give up on ourselves and say, oh, God has abandoned us. No, God hasn't abandoned us. What God has done is given us the wisdom, the insight to make a difference in this world. We hear very soon that we're going to have a new young saint in the church. Blessed Carlo Acutis is going to be canonized. And he was just a young man who, just like any teenager, was fascinated with the world, but he also had trust and faith in God. Even though he had contracted a deadly disease, he had faith and trust in God. And because of his dedication, he has changed many people and has changed the world. I think that we can do the same. Each and every one of us is called to make a difference in the lives of other people. May the Lord strengthen us in our commitment, not just to say, oh, that's an act of God, get over it. But no, what can we do to make God real in our world today and to have trust and faith that even in the face of all that seems to be wrong, you know what? We can still challenge and make a difference in this world. The Lord strengthens us on our journey, this journey that we call life. All we have to do is trust. May we truly have that trust today and always. Amen.